Welcome to Disability Book Week Superstar Authors. I am your host, Kelly M. Likes. Let's set the scene. I am here in my favorite gray sweater with a black and white dress, sitting in front of a bookshelf of my favorite books. And over there in the corner is a little green fire engine. And we are here today with superstar author Carol Boynton. And it's Valentine's Day. She is dressed in red, beautiful heart necklace, red earrings. She looks gorgeous. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. As you said, my name is Carol Boynton, and I am a first-time author of a children's book inspired by my twin daughters who are adults now. And I really enjoyed writing the book, and the reason for the book was inclusion. My daughters have a cerebral palsy. One uses a power wheelchair, and the other one has issues with her gait and walking. And they are adults now and advocates. But the one thing that I noticed was when they were growing up, they didn't have a lot of books and a lot of um, cartoons like they do now and things of that nature who look like them. And so it is important for me as a parent, a mom, an author, and an advocate is to display um, people of all abilities. And so that was the reason for my book, which is Nikki and the Runaway Reel, and Nikki is my one daughter, and Jazzy is the other daughter, and like I said, they're twins. And that was the an inspiration behind the book, my daughters.
Awesome. Well, tell me a little bit more about the book.
Sure. So the book is for geared towards 3 to 7 year olds. And the story is the girls, they're about, I would say, 6 or 7 in the book, and they are going on a field trip with their class. And in the book, they're going to the zoo. And as they're going around the zoo with their friends, Nikki loses her wheel on her wheelchair. And they go on an adventure through the zoo to try and find Nikki's wheelchair. So with that adventure, it helps teach um um it helps teach teamwork and friendship. And so that's the book is about that.
That is awesome. I love that. So tell me a little bit about your writing process. How did you go from idea in your head to holding the book in your hands? What was your process?
So I started actually being a author kind of came in a odd way because I wanted to write a memoir regarding raising the girls. And I started taking some courses at our local library. We have a wonderful writing library in my neighborhood, and they have all type of courses: poetry, fiction, nonfiction, and I mean, all kind of courses. So I started taking courses to write the memoir, and somehow or another, it came in my mind, hey, a children's book, because as I was perusing through the library, I did not see any books on inclusion. And the one thing I want to show this again that I really love about the book is you can see Nikki in her wheelchair. And I just got that idea. I was like, let's do the girls. So I started thinking about some of the adventures that we've had over the time of them growing up. Now, we didn't really have an adventure of her losing her wheel, but we've had many adventures of her and her power chair. And so I started thinking about some things, and it just kind of all just came together. Like it wasn't like a long process. It just came to me. And I just think that it was meant to be because I didn't go through a long, well, let me think the scene. It just came to me. And I started thinking about some of the field trips that they went on. that we went with them and going to the zoo and just a lot of the fun things that we encountered with her being in a wheelchair because actually it's not always gloom and doom in the wheelchair. Sometimes it's really funny, especially when you have a kiddo in a power chair because she would run over things and that kind of thing. So I wanted to make it fun, a funny story, and that's where kind of like the process came from.
Awesome. Well, what sort of advice do you have for an individual who is interested in writing a story, perhaps about a child with a disability? What advice do you have for them?
First of all, do it. We need more of these type of books because my first thought was to you can teach children these things. First of all, it's great for a child who has a disability to see this type of book in a library, in a bookstore. Listen, one of the places I thought we were at a lot was physical therapy, and in the waiting rooms of hospitals and things like that. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to see these type of books in a children's hospital? So first of all, I want to encourage you wherever you think, write that book, write it. I don't care if you feel like it's not perfect, or it doesn't have to be. Just write that book because it is important. My daughter always says, share your story because your story matters. That's her motto. And that is 100% true. Share your story. It is very important to write the book. So I was want to say, you have that in your heart and in your mind, just do it. I was not an author, but now I could call myself an author. And that's a wonderful feeling. It really is. And just to get it out, we need to get these things out.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Well, it is my favorite time of the interview. Will you please share a part of the book with us?
Sure, I'm going to read just one caption of the book. Let me grab it. I'm just gonna pick a page. Oh, okay. I hope you can see.
Yes.
Very colorful. And so this page is I'm gonna set the scene. Um Nikki is riding in her wheelchair and Jasmine is running behind them. As you can see, they're at the zoo. So you see the giraffe and suddenly thunk. Nikki's chair tilted and one of her wheels had popped off and rolled away just like a donut. So to let that be your imagination as the wheel rolled off, you know you can't ride in a wheelchair with minus a wheel. So what do you think? And that's when the adventure begins when the girls try off with a couple of their classmates to try and find her wheel.
I absolutely love that. I love the big donut too. I'm like, donuts. Donuts in the books are the best. Well, I wanted to say, Carol, thank you so much for being here. Do you have any parting words before we go?
No, I only want to stress if you are an aspiring author, write the book.
I agree.
That's it. Write the book.
Thank you very much for being a superstar author. I appreciate you meeting with me today.
And thank you so much for what you guys do and for this opportunity. You guys it is very important and I love how you are getting the word out on inclusion and including everybody. And I would really like to thank you for this opportunity.